Hi, grade 11s. So in this example, we are sketching the parabola again. But in this example, our parabola is not in standard form. It is in turning point form. So that is the turning point form. So can you see our equation that they gave us here looks like this over here. So we are going to sketch this parabola. So step number 1 is to calculate our y-intercept. Okay? So for our y-intercept, we're going to let x be 0. So I write my equation down, and wherever there's an x, I made that 0. Okay? I put that in my calculator, and I get my y-intercept to be 6. So my y-intercept is 0 and 6. Step number 2 is to work out our turning point. Now, because this equation is in turning point form, I can see my turning point. So my turning point is this P and that Q over here. So my turning point, if this is a positive P, my turning point is the negative P. And if this is a positive Q, the sign stays the same. So that would be my turning point. So if I look at this equation over here, do you see that this is the P? It's plus 1. So my turning point is a negative 1. And my Q is this positive 8. So that stays the same, positive 8. So because my equation was given in turning point form, I can actually see my turning point. I don't have to use a formula to work it out like we did in the previous lesson. So step number 3 is to work out our x-intercepts. So x-intercepts, we let y equal 0. So here where y is, this is now 0. And we multiply this out. So I'm going to take a long method and multiply this out. So let me just show you grade 11s. This is actually 2 brackets. So I'm going to do it like that. Then I'm going to leave the negative 2 here. And I'm going to multiply this out. That's x squared. That is 1x. This is 1x. And the last one is 1. And then plus 8. And now I'm going to add the like terms inside the bracket first. So this is x squared. These are like terms. So that's 2x. So that's 2x plus 1 plus 8. And now I'm going to multiply the negative 2 in. So I'm going to say negative 2 times this, times this, times that. So I get negative 2x squared minus 4x minus 2 plus 8. And now I get my equation in standard form. So negative 2x squared minus 4x plus 6. Now remember, I must now solve for x. So because I see 2 can go into all these numbers, I'm going to divide all my terms by negative 2. So negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. But what I do on the right, I do on my left. So this stays 0. This becomes a positive. This becomes a positive 2x. And this becomes a negative 3. So now I'm going to factorize this. And remember, grade 11s, you can also use the quadratic formula to solve this equation. So my final answer is x is equal to negative 3 or x is equal to positive 1. So my x-intercepts are negative 3 make y 0 and 1 make y 0. So when you sketch a parabola, a nice tip to know is start with your turning point. Our turning point is negative 1 and 8. So negative 1 can be somewhere there and 8 is there. So our point is somewhere there. Remember, it doesn't have to be according to scale. So this is negative 1 and 8. That's our turning point. And if we look at the equation of our parabola, do you see that this number here, this is our A. it's a negative. So that means our parabola will have a sad face. So when I go to my parabola, I'm going to turn from the turning point. So I'm going to go downwards, and it has a sad face. And do you see this point over here? It cuts the y-axis. And these 2 points over here, it cuts the x-axis. So I'm going to label those points. So this is the y-intercept. So this is 0 and 9. This is the x-intercepts that we worked out. Look here. So the left-hand side is negative 3. And this one is a positive 1. And that's your parabola. Okay, we have answered this first question over here. Question B says, what is the equation of the axis of symmetry of f? So the axis of symmetry of a parabola is always x is equal to the x value of the turning point. So x is equal to, do you see this is the turning point? There is the x value. So the axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative 1. That's the axis of symmetry. And that line would actually cut the parabola in half. So that line would go like that if you had to draw the line in. Then the next question is for C, it says, what is the domain of f? The domain for a parabola is always x is an element of a real number. So that's always the case. Then the last question says, what is the range of the parabola? If you have a smiley face parabola, the range is y is greater than or equal to the y value of the turning point. And if you have a sad face parabola, then the range is y is less than or equal to the y value of the turning point. So we have a sad face parabola. So the answer here is y is less than or equal to, here's the turning point, and the y value is 8. And that is the range of the parabola.